If you're a member of the traveling public and are healthy, should you be worried that you might have gotten it by sitting next to someone? And the answer is no. Second, if you are sick and you may have Ebola, should you get on a bus? And the answer to that is also no. You might become ill. You might have a problem that exposes someone around you.
All right, folks. So you can't get it from someone if you're traveling on a bus, but if you're traveling on a bus, you can give it to someone. Woo! That was yesterday. We'll get back to that, but first, and of course, the Malzberg panel. But first, I want to remind you about a great new book by Newsmax contributor and political analyst Dick Morris. There it is, right on the screen. It's called Power Grab, Obama's Dangerous Plan for a One-Party Nation. And why don't you go get your copy? I would urge you to do so strongly. It's already, and has been for weeks, #1 Amazon bestseller. All you got to do is go to powergrab411.com to get your copy now. That's powergrab411.com. All right, joining us, co-host of Steele Ungar on SiriusXM Radio and senior political contributor for Forbes.com, Rick Ungar, and columnist at Breitbart.com and American thinker C. Edmund Wright. All right, Rick. So there's Frieden who testified today, and we could talk about that in a moment. But so if you have it, first of all, you can't get it by sitting next to somebody on a bus or a plane. But if you have it, you shouldn't travel on a bus or a plane because you could give it to somebody. What was that?
You know, I don't know what to tell you, Steve, because I'm not suffering all this confusion that appears to be afflicting you. Look, they've made it very clear that there's the 3-foot radius, something that if you have any involvement in the medical world, you know that that's typically the case. In any disease where it's discharged that will bring on contagion, you know that you have a zone of 3 feet. Stand outside that 3 feet, the sneezing, the this, the that, the whatever it may be isn't likely to get you. Stand inside the 3 feet could be a problem. So if you're sitting next to somebody on a bus and without wanting to be indelicate, if you might turn around and throw up on your neighbor, yes, that poses a very big risk if you happen to have Ebola. Does not pose a risk to the person sitting in the back of that bus. So, you know, I have yet to understand why everybody's, on both sides, by the way, not just your side or my side. Both sides are trying to make such political hay out of an Ebola situation, but it's not going to get anybody anywhere.
Well, the guy who gives the Pinocchios out in the Washington Post, Edmund, gave 4 Pinocchios to the Democrats' claim that cutting the CDC or cutting the NIH is responsible for where we are.
You heard what I just said.
Yeah.
Neither side.
All right, but what about this Frieden? To me, this is a guy who wanted to ban soda, 16 ounce or more in New York City. That was going to kill you. Smoking outside, or secondhand smoke from someone smoking outside, that's going to kill you. But he doesn't have a problem with letting people with Ebola into the United States.
You know, Steve, that
Ed.
quote about the bus that you can't get it on a bus, but you can give it on a bus. This is just another incoherent, babbling government bureaucrat who's going to get paid, going to get his retirement, regardless of how corrupt he is, regardless of how incompetent he is, regardless of how not up to his task he is. He's going to be just fine while he endangers many Americans. This is the problem with a federal government complex that's out of control. There's rampant incompetence, rampant incoherence, rampant corruption. This is what bureaucracies do, which is why I'm a small government guy.
You've provided a true service to the audience. You've taken an epidemiologist that every doctor who is in that field will tell you, and I've spent 3 days talking to almost all of them, is one of, excuse me, I'm talking. He is considered one of the best epidemiologists in the world, and you've reduced him to an incompetent because it somehow suits your political agenda. Well done. Well done.
He's an incompetent, and then you could go, let me just throw this in, he's incompetent because of his explanations, his changing explanations to why we can't allow why we should allow people in from Africa. The first thing he said was, we have to protect the African economies. Now, he's also believed to have said that to a congressman, Tim Murphy, who related that today at the hearing. I have him on tape saying that. Then it morphed into, well, then we can't get aid workers in and out if we have a ban, which was nonsense. So today he changed to, well, we won't be able to track the people coming in and out if we don't allow them in.
And you know what?
Edmund's turn. Edmund, go ahead.
Yeah, no, this doctor, yeah, I'm sorry. He may have an MD, but right now for the last 3 weeks, he's been an incompetent, babbling bureaucrat. He contradicts himself 3 or 4 times with every answer. You can go back to the first time he was on national TV, and every single time he speaks, we get this kind of double speak. And usually what he says is proven wrong 3 or 4 days later anyway.
You know what I always love about Republicans who have never been in business themselves? They love to criticize Democrats. Excuse me, Edmund, I didn't interrupt you. I'm going to finish.
No, you did interrupt him. He wasn't finished.
You weren't finished? Go ahead. What else did you have to say?
No one's trying to make this political. This is a situation where there's no clear political winners or losers. I haven't mentioned Republican or Democrat. I just mentioned bureaucrat. That's where my problem is.
I see.
Edmund, don't worry. We got a SWAT team coming if someone gets Ebola. A SWAT team.
And you said he may have an MD. Nothing weird about that. Yes. I mean, guys, do your thing. The good news is that Americans are smarter than that. You know what neither of you seem to be able to recognize? And by the way, Edmund, I happen to agree that we should be banning travel. I'm actually on your side on that. But you know what? I am capable, having run a lot of businesses, of knowing that in every issue, you'll find things that have been done wrong, things that have been done right. In this issue, I have seen things that have been done wrong, things that have been done right. Why are you incapable of noting that if you're not pursuing a political agenda?
Edmund, I got to go, but I'll answer for us both, because this will kill us. That's why. It's not a business that could go out of time.
They've done nothing right.
Alan Dershowitz is next, folks. But first, travel credit cards are a good way to accumulate airline miles or hotel points that you can use on your next vacation. But is it a good thing? Stay tuned for your Max to Money moment.
You see the commercials all the time. Sign up for the airline credit card and get a free round-trip fare, plus miles and more. It sounds enticing, but are these cards worth it?
It all depends on how frequent of a flyer you are and whether you can concentrate all your flying on one airline. You know, if you are a very frequent flyer, 2-3 times a month, and you fly one airline all the time, you can become what airlines call elite. They'll give you upgrades and they'll start giving you bonus miles, and then you get those miles even more quickly. But if you're somebody who doesn't fly all that frequently, then paying an extra $20, $30, $40 to try to fly a certain airline and get miles just to hope to get that $200 free ticket eventually, save the money and just pay for that ticket.
Before signing up for the airline credit card, compare the annual fee and interest rate to other cards. And if they're reasonable, make sure the airline offers easy travel options to the cities you like to visit. Also, check the point structure for ticket redemption and if the points expire quickly.
The CDC director says current airport Ebola screenings are sufficient to protect Americans. I'm Olga Villaverde, and this story tops your Newsmax Now update. Dr. Tom Frieden testified today before a congressional committee about his agency's ability to fight Ebola. He says the CDC is working nonstop to contain the outbreak. Meanwhile, the first Dallas nurse to contract Ebola, Nina Pham, moves to a specialized medical center in Maryland. The facility has one of only 4 biocontainment units in the United States. In other news, Arkansas State Supreme Court blocks voter ID laws today. The justices say the laws requiring voters to show valid ID violate the state's constitution. The New York Health Department continues to investigate the death of Joan Rivers. Now a medical examiner says Rivers died from low blood oxygen. The actress passed away after going into cardiac arrest during a procedure. And that's your Newsmax Now update. We'll have more news for you coming in about 30 minutes. I'm Olga Villaverde. We hope to see you then.